January 19th, 2020. You could feel the energy rampaging across Levi's Stadium through a TV screen. Aaron Rodgers, who had just led his team through the thick and thin of numerous one-score games, visiting a 49ers squad who ran through teams with their explosive defense, complemented well by a balanced yet efficient offense. And while it was clear that the Niners had the better overall team, Rodgers has long been considered one of, if not the most pure and skilled passer. Any team with him under center theoretically had a good chance of pulling off a victory. For Rodgers, this game was yet another opportunity to fill out a playoff resume that dwarfed in size and prestige to rivals like Tom Brady, though it was not to be. The 49ers straight dominated the game from tip-off, racing to a 27-0 halftime lead, jamming the ball down their throats time and time again out of a plethora of zone read looks. It was to the point where Jimmy G only had to throw the ball 8 times. On the other side of the ball, Bosa and company haunted Rodgers, holding him to a measly 65 yards, an interception, and a lost fumble. The Packers were simply ran out of California back to their frozen tundra. Rodgers walked into the locker room looking tired, dejected, and 50 years older. Many of us, including me, saw this game as the start of his perpetual decline. At this point, he had more years behind him than he did ahead of him, since at least 2016, if not 2014, Rodgers had declined in nearly all of his passing statistics. He was throwing for fewer yards, fewer touchdowns, at a lower efficiency than he had in his prime. And it seems that the front office think the same way. Instead of surrounding their franchise QB with playmaking talent, they instead opted to go looking for his successor, packaging their 4th and 1st round picks to move up and select Jordan Love at 26. With consistent wide receiver deficiencies, I'm sure Rodgers took this personally. He took it all in. He took it to heart. He returned this season looking and playing like a man on a mission. In Matt LaFleur's play-action heavy offense, he became a destroyer of worlds, picking team after team apart. For the season, Rodgers threw 48 touchdown passes and only 5 interceptions. He had more TDs than the Packers had punts. He also completed 70% of his passes, generating a passer rating of 121.5. His dang near telepathic connection with Adams was only one of the reasons the Packers went into this postseason looking completely different than the year before. Last year, they were pretenders, barely scraping by teams with a measly margin of 2.8. This season, they're blowing out opponents out of the water with skill, power, and finesse, with 3 times the margin of victory. Rodgers and the Packers entered their first postseason games as the heavy favorites. There was actually a pretty good chance that Bortles took the field for the Rams due to Goff's nagging hand injury, and Aaron Donald, who was their transcendent defensive presence, was limited heavily due to ripped rib cartilage. It wasn't surprising in the slightest that the Packers won, but how they won was extremely telling. The Rams, even without Donald on one of the NFL's premier defenses, pass coverage stifling the best of quarterbacks, such as Russell Wilson. The Packers' own line, even without their all-pro left tackle, were able to set the tone and pace of the game with Aaron Jones and Jamal Williams, ending with a total of 296 rushing yards. And quite frankly, this dominance in the trenches unlocked Rodgers even more, as he methodically dissected their defense, leveraging the run to unleash a deep play-action strike. By the 2-minute warning in the 4th quarter, the Packers had exactly doubled the Rams' total yardage, 488 to 244. After kneel downs, the Packers finished with 484 yards in the game, the most against a number 1 ranked defense since the NFL-AFL merger in the 70s. And the Packers could have had much more. For about 5 plays where either Rodgers overthrew a wide open receiver or the receiver dropped a very catchable ball. Those plays are executed like they've been doing all night. That's an extra 3 touchdowns. The defense at times looked overwhelmed by the Rams' rookie running back Cam Akers. We focus on the Packers and Rodgers' flaws for far too long. This team has proven they belong with the NFL's elite. Packers put up 6 on 3 of their 4 red zone chances outside of garbage time, which was actually lower than their season average of 80%. Highest red zone scoring percentage in the NFL since 1998. Next week, Rodgers and the Packers will face either GOAT Brady and the Buccaneers or Drew Brees and the Saints. It will be the matchup for the ages, each team led by a Hall of Fame QB looking for the opportunity to go get another ring. Rodgers' 43-year-old rival quarterback will be a reminder that he still has several more seasons ahead of him. But there's no time like the present. This is starting to look a lot like the Packers year. That is all I have for y'all today. If you like this video, consider liking this video. One thing's not negotiable though is comment down something below. Let me know what game you want me to cover next. Until next time, stay safe.